Did welcome to pelvic floor yoga this morning. Thanks for joining. Let's go ahead and sit in an easy seated position on our mat. Rib cage stacked over pelvis. Feeling like someone is pulling a string out of the top of your head. Let's do a little neck work today. So let's take the right ear to the right shoulder. Just hold that there. And then dropping the chin to the chest, rolling that left ear to the left shoulder. Rolling back chin to chest and then right ear to right shoulder. This time, let's take the right hand, put it on top of the head. This is only for weight. It is not to push. Left hand pushes out away from the body, taking the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Release the hand. Take the chin to the chest. Come over to this left ear, left shoulder. Right hand pushes out, fingertips towards the sky. Left hand comes on top of the head. This is just for weight. We're not pushing into the head. Removing the hand, taking the head and bringing it back to the top, feeling like someone's pulling that string out of the top of the head again. Right hand is going to come behind the back, so the palm touches the back, and we'll take the chin over towards the left, and then you'll look down, gently taking your chin towards the shoulder. Gaze comes back up, and let's take the chin again towards the shoulder, but our chin feels like there's a tennis ball instead of crunching into the neck. There's a tennis ball under the chin. One last time, we'll orient the ear towards the shoulder. Look up. Should really get into the neck muscle. This one maybe even down into the trap. Our whole body's connected. Everything's connected to the pelvic floor. And release. This time we'll take left hand behind the body, palm touches the back, left ear, I'm sorry, right ear to right shoulder. It's the left hand behind the back, right ear to right shoulder. Now go ahead and look up. Should get into that trap area. Bringing the head up, we'll go ahead and look to the right, making sure we have a little tennis ball underneath here, and then crunching that down, chin towards the shoulder, looking over the right shoulder. And release. If you want to do a couple neck circles to kind of even things out. Good. And again, sitting nice and tall, rib cage over the pelvis. We're going to stir the rib cage around on top of the pelvis, so moving in one direction. Making a big rotation with the chest. One direction. And then switching directions. Really expanding into the chest. And bringing that to stillness. We'll do a few cat cows right here from seated position. So pushing the chest out, rocking forward on the pelvis, then arching into the back, rocking backwards onto the pelvis. And we'll go through that with breath. So inhale, come forward. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, rock back. Again, inhale one last time, forward. And exhale, rocking back. Inhale, come to neutral spine. Bring the hands out beside, feet come in front. We'll windshield wiper those legs. Bringing the knee down to the mat if you can. Moving that femur in the socket. Femur in the socket, super important to gain mobility there so that the fascia, the tissue in there, doesn't get stuck and pull into the pelvis. Let's come forward, hold on to those knees. I don't know if you can see my feet. We'll do a little tiny bit of toe work. So big toe up, little toes down, big toe down, little toes up, little toes down, big toe up, big toe down, little toes up. Last opportunity here, big thumbs up with those toes, the, the big toe, and then big toe down, little toes up, and then pat those piggies out. Let's come into a hip 90-90, or I like to call this mermaid. That's what they call it in Pilates. So front leg is your left leg, and I'm not doing this in a 90-degree angle, but you can. So that would be a 90-degree angle there with your knee. It's a little harder to do than if you bend your knee. Same with your back leg. You can inch this into a 90-degree angle. Mine is tucked up a little bit more. It's a little bit easier to get over this hip. So what we're trying to do is this is my right hip, shift the right shoulder and rib cage over that right hip. It's okay if it's not happening today. You might be tight. It is morning time. It's okay to be shifted over a bit, but the ultimate goal is to get here, sitting up nice and tall. And no matter where you are, let's creep this over to the right, over towards that chicken leg side, and look over that right shoulder. Gently taking a twist here. And then releasing. Hands come up. Let's exhale forward over that front leg. It's morning time. I'm a little bit stiff this morning, so whatever level you can get your chest to be over that leg, that depends on you and your body. Let's walk the hands to the left. So now we're coming over that left knee. Make sure we continue to breathe. Walking back up with those hands. We're going to do a little something with this back foot. So if you can move it without using your hand, you can do that. But first, let's stack this rib cage over pelvis. We want to keep the rib cage over the pelvis. And now you can pull this back foot up with your muscles. And if you can't pull it up with your muscles, go ahead and pull it up with your hand. Try not to shift over. Your hip is going to want to shift over when you do that. So we'll pull up, down, up, down. One more time up. Keep it up for a count of 3, 2, 1, and release. Let's turn to the right again. Face front, hands come behind, windshield wiper those legs again. This time, right leg is going to come in front, left is going to come in back. Remember, this is technically called hip 90-90, so if you want it to be in that 90 degree, so what it means is your knees in 90 degree and your hip. So basically, you look like half of one of those little spinny things that you blow on and it goes around. But personally, that's a little much for me this morning, so I'm going to bend into my knees, bringing my rib cage over the pelvis, sitting up nice and tall. It's okay if you're not stacked today, but if you can stack, go ahead and do that. Rib cage over pelvis, and let's turn to the left. Looking around and over that left shoulder. Coming forward with the chest, arms come up. We're going to exhale over that front foot, the right front foot. And whatever position you land in, trying not to injure ourselves. It might be morning time when you're doing this. If you're doing it live, it sure is morning time. Let's walk the hands over to the right, coming over that right knee. Walking the hands back up, sitting up nice and tall. Let's turn to the left again. Release. Now this left foot is going to come up in the air. Whether you do that with your hand or with your muscles, we want to make sure we're stacked, rib cage over pelvis, and it goes up, down, up, down, up, down, and stay up on this one. Go ahead and whip, hold it up. Mine doesn't want to cooperate today. Hand release, turning to the left. Hands come behind, windshield wiper those legs. Really trying to get that knee all the way down to the mat. Let's come onto the back, grabbing behind the knees and letting those knees travel apart slowly. Inhaling here, exhaling here. Letting your body melt into the mat. If you'd like, you can come into a further expression of happy baby by grabbing your big toe or the outer blade of your foot, but simply keeping your hand under your knee is quite fine for this morning. Relaxing into this, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Let's take the hands behind the knees if you're not there already. Knees are nice and wide. And we're going to make some circles with the knees. So I'm making mine into the chest, together, down, and out. Into the chest, together, down, and out. We'll do two more like that. 2, 1, and then at the bottom I'll reverse. So together, up to the chest, apart, and then down. Together, into the chest, up, and out. Let's do 3 more like that. 2, and 1. Letting those knees come open again. Let's actually let the legs come into a supine butterfly. So joining the feet, bringing the feet down to the mat and letting the legs hang open. Now, if this is not comfortable, I typically like to put some blocks underneath my legs so that it can be more comfortable. I'm putting my hands underneath my hips a little bit to give myself a little support in this one. Let's bring the knees together, maybe with the help of the hands. Bring the knees into the chest. Right knee stays in, left leg comes out. Let's push the leg into the belly and then push the right knee to the left, looking over the right shoulder. Right shoulder stays in contact with the mat. Returning your knee and hip. Both knees come into the mat. I'm sorry, into the chest. It's early. Right leg comes down. Left leg presses into the belly. And then pushes over to the right, looking over the left shoulder. This hip can come up. Looking over that left shoulder. Then bringing that knee back into the chest. Right knee comes back into the chest. Let's roll like a ball to get up. Not a great move if you have a diastasis. You could just simply come up to a seated position by rolling onto one side as well. Stacking again that rib cage over pelvis, sitting up nice and tall. Let's inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. And I say to everyone, namaste. Thank you so much for joining. May your coffee and your pelvic floor be strong today.